Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities is out in full on Netflix, a horror anthology of 8 episodes, around 1 hour each, produced, overseen, in some cases written by, and sort of curated by Del Toro himself, who introduces each story at the beginning like an old television program. Each made by a different director, each with a different cast, containing names such as F. Murray Abraham, Tim Blake Nelson, Bill Barnes, Essie Davis, Rupert Grint, Crispin Glover, Eric Andre, and many more. Each telling a different story, with 2 of them being Lovecraft adaptations, some of the others original stories. Now, like every other anthology series in existence, it's uneven, with some episodes being better than others. However, putting aside the differences in the plot and the direction and performances, I do want to point out that there was one thing which made these episodes painfully uniform. Each and every one of them, aside from episode 7, but we'll get to that, has the same look and visual feel that I've learned to associate with Netflix productions. It's a sort of digital, clean, artificial, boring style, which has to do, well, not sure really with what, if it's the digital cameras themselves or the lenses that they use or the lighting or a combination of all of those. But there is that look, and you know it if you've seen anything done by Netflix ever, which makes all these stories look like they are just television episodes shot in a clean studio, which becomes a very apparent problem, especially in an anthology, because those episodes are supposed to feel completely different from one another, and yet they don't, because of this certain visual boredom that permeates them. Now, I mentioned episode 7 as the exception. That one was made by Panos Cosmatos, apologies, director of Mandy, the psychedelic, trippy horror film starring Nicolas Cage. In his episode called The Viewing, he once again taps fully into that 1970s electronic neon aesthetic with trippy visuals and synth score. It's unbelievably stylish, and he manages to leave the most powerful mark of his own from all the other directors involved in this project. And it's funny because in some of the scenes I could sort of see this pedestrian digital quality sort of peering from underneath, as if you'd seen a layer of old paint visible from beneath the new one. So as much as Cosmatos was trying to hide this digital quality and to make it his own, you can see like tiny traces of it. But for the most part, he covers that paint. And even though in terms of the script and the cast, it's probably not the best one of the 8 episodes, I absolutely loved it just for breaking that visual boredom, for being a breath of fresh air that actually looked and felt like its own thing. Other than that, I thought The Autopsy is also very good. That's episode 3. And as for the rest of them all, none of them is really bad or anything. In fact, I'd say they're at least decent or even good, but for me personally, the oppressive blandness of their looks prevented them from being very enjoyable. So yeah, my recommendation would be to check out the 2 that I mentioned, The Autopsy and The Viewing. If you like them a lot, you can check out the rest, but be advised that they are bogged down by mediocre visuals.